Alexis, so we're here in a context of a decade-long of trust crisis affecting every organization, governments, corporates, and you're here to argue through your organization that family business can help. How does that work?
There are two reasons why family businesses can be part of the solution. First, trust is at the heart of their success. To build a successful business over generation, you need to build trust. First, within the family, then between the family and the business, and then between the family business and the community and the stakeholders. So they can use that trust capital to build successful models and successful businesses and successful partnerships.
But they're families, yes. I have a family. We don't all trust each other. That doesn't always work, right?
Well, what we've learned at FVN is that they learn to live with that tension. They don't need to solve the tension between the family, which is about emotion, and the business, which is about entrepreneurship. They can leverage both worlds. And why is it important? That's the second reason. Family business is 70% of the economy.
Yeah.
And many people think family business are 70% of the problem. Where at FVN, we believe family businesses can be 70% of the solution. How? By building on this trust capital they have, by leveraging their polycapitals, including their business assets, their investments, their philanthropy, and their advocacy, their voice.
So Falko, about these different capitals that family business can leverage. By default, what's hard? Why are people not leveraging these capitals in family business?
What we've seen now over the past 10 years working with families that are interested in having more impact on individuals is there are really three elements that are missing that need to come together for individuals to actually really advance change. And those three elements, I think, are number one, the realization that every change in the world is triggered by individual actions. And second, understanding that it takes actually a lot of time. You will be having the mainstream opinion against that. And the third thing is that it requires being actually really also strategic about how you affect that change. So let's go back to these three. One, individual action. Oftentimes, it's very easy to sort of hide behind the we, the board, the business, the family. Well, that's fine, but what are you doing about that as an individual? So really standing up as an individual, weighing in, putting your ego down and putting in the time. And the second piece then again, understanding that innovation happens at the fringes. Innovation means doing something differently than what everybody else is doing, and that's hard. It means really pushing for something that is not the mainstream yet. And the important realization here is to understand you're not Rome, you're just early.
I can give a great example which has served the people at scale. You take India, post-COVID, with hundreds of millions of migrant workers having lost their jobs, sometimes their lives because of the COVID crisis. We had a group of families coming together, realizing that they needed to give them the capacity to tap on the safety net and organize providers so those migrant workers could have access to a new system. It's called the Social Compact. Families came together, they leveraged their business assets through their providers, their investments, their philanthropy to help kick out the project, and their voice to bring more families. And their objective is to get millions of migrant workers out of the informal system to live a more decent life. That million benchmark was very important because it brought other families realizing that it was not going to threaten them, but to help them create a better working conditions for their workers.
Okay.
And the other thing which is very important is to concentrate in the things you know. For example, what do I know about? Packaging, I know about distribution, I know about water replenishment, a bit of carbon footprint, but I can do a lot in that. But I don't go to other things I don't know.
Focus, yeah.
Focus in the things you know from all day long. I think that is very important because you start with a small thing in your company, and this spreads suddenly to 90 or 100 companies. And these 100 companies probably spread to 1,000 companies. The same message. It's amazing.
In terms of the key barriers, one thing that I see so often is so many families have younger family members that really would like to weigh in a lot more, especially on the sustainability topic. So they have a lot of cultural capital in terms of their knowledge. But older families basically just don't let them do that.
Okay.
So oftentimes they don't let the younger generations, especially if younger family members or family members who are really keen on sustainability topics would like to leverage the reputation of the firm, the family, in order to advance sustainability topics. There might be other family members who don't want to do that.
Alfonso, the next generation have the space?
Oh, yes, they are all
With you, they are?
in the board. They are in the board. Yes. I have my niece that's within the board. She's 30 years, going to be next vice president.
So to build on what Alfonso and Falko said, I think the new generations know more than the wise, the senior generation, on several topics: nature, technology, AI. There's that concept of reverse mentoring. And that dialogue across generation is so important to make sure that the trust can be built across generation. There's so much guilt between generations, so much blaming. And I think we are at that moment where the new generation
Can change that.
can work with the wise generation and vice versa. Now, it requires a lot of patience on both sides, but patient capital is what makes business families successful.
Good. All right.